Well, hello again. Today I'm going to tell you why moving into this 30-foot travel trailer was the right decision for me, and I'm going to give you a tour. So let's get going. So right when you walk in the door to this trailer, you'll see the living area and the kitchen. And you may also have noticed that we have 2 pet rabbits. So finding a trailer with a layout that had a good space for the rabbits was really important to us. Originally, there was a recliner here where we set up the rabbits area. We call it Bunny Wonderland. But we just took that out and gave it to a friend and made space for our little buns. Oh, you peed right there. That's nice. Thank you. So here in the living space, we have a recliner, a jackknife sofa that folds open into a bed, but we're eventually going to remove because, like a lot of RV furniture, it's made really cheaply and it's already kind of broken. It's not broken enough right now that we care to replace it. Like, it's fine. But eventually our plan is to rent out or sell this trailer. And when we do that, we'll replace the sofa. There's also an entertainment area with a TV that we barely use, and I'm happy to report that. We also have some storage that, man, it's just plenty of space. It's more than we actually needed, with plenty of space for our books and electronics and games and things of that nature. And we have our dinette, which is perfect for us. I initially didn't think I was going to be into the dinette, but I love that it has storage in the seats, which is so awesome. We also have a little space for knickknacks and photos, and these are our grocery bags. Minimalism tip, so these were a bunch of t-shirts that I love that had meaning to me, but I was no longer going to wear. So I just cut them up and I sewed them into grocery bags. And they're the best shopping bags ever. I love them. Okay, let's get down to the brass tacks here. The first reason why moving into the RV was the right decision for me is simply cost. So I've done a simple side-by-side here with my expenses from the apartment I was living in versus the expenses for the RV. Before the RV, I was living in an apartment in Oakland and my rent was $1,266 a month. Here at the RV park, I'm stationary and I'm paying $700 a month. I was needing to move from the area that I was living in for work. I was traveling over an hour to work each day and that wasn't gonna work for me long term. So $1,266 in our area was actually really affordable because we had rent control. If you're not in an area with rent control, you might not know what that means. And it really is just a cap on the amount landlords can raise the rent every year. So living in the Bay Area, rents have basically more than doubled. And I was needing to move for work. To move from our apartment that was $1,266 a month, we were gonna end up moving to a new place that cost a minimum of $2,000 a month. So if you factor in that change, we actually are saving even more per month on our rent cost. Monthly, I'm gonna be paying a bit more on electric and propane. I didn't have to pay for propane at my previous apartment, and in the trailer, we're using more electric than we were using in the apartment. Our phone and internet bill went down for a few different reasons. Kids, you're making so much noise. The rabbits are making so much noise right now. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, back to the money. Something that we had to pay for, unfortunately, all too often in Oakland was parking tickets and vandalism. I averaged out our costs from the past couple years of paying parking tickets, which are $58 a ticket, and vandalism, which was increasing dramatically in our area because of gentrification, actually. New buildings were being built and it was creating a lot of blight in our area, and people were just coming in and busting windows all the time. So unfortunately, that added to our monthly expense of living in Oakland, parking tickets and having our windows busted. Because I was commuting for work, I also was paying a lot for gas and toll. So that's money that we're saving now because I'm not commuting to work very often, and I actually have the benefit of using the bus system for free. So I've been using the bus to get to work a lot. An added expense is loan interest. Unfortunately, we didn't have quite enough money to pay out of pocket for this RV, so we paid for about half of the cost and took a loan for the other half. So there's some interest that we're paying on top of that, and I factor that into here to be kind of realistic. And since living in the RV, a cool benefit, to me it's a benefit, is that we're not watching TV as much. We're getting out more and spending less time watching Netflix. So we canceled our Netflix subscription. Bearing all of that in mind, we're saving almost $900 a month. If over the past 8 years when I was renting my apartment, if I had saved $900 a month over 8 years, compounding at an annual interest rate of 11.9%, which mirrors the indexes that track the S&P 500, I would have $135,000. That's $135,000 I will never see again. I would have saved $87,000 in principal and made nearly $50K in interest and dividends and such. Holy shit. That's a lot of money, and that realization is a huge reason why moving into this RV was the right choice, because I care less about keeping up with the Joneses and care so much more about my time and my health and being able to do what I want in life, because life is short, and screw giving all my money to my landlord who sucked anyways. So that's how I feel about that. I keep interchanging I and we, and I'm annoying myself with that, so I'm sorry if it's annoying for you. When I say we, I'm referring to myself and my partner, Andre. In case you haven't met him, he's awesome, and he sometimes makes little appearances in these videos. So let me tell you a little bit about this kitchen. It has a refrigerator that's much smaller than a normal refrigerator, but it really is everything we need. If we were a big family or something, that might be kind of challenging, but because it's just two of us and we can go to the store as often as we need to, the refrigerator has plenty of space. We also have a ton of cabinet storage, more than we need. A pantry over here with room for our dry goods and snacks and such. Then we have lots of cabinet space up here. We've got vitamins and spices and containers. I've got my hand mixer. We did invest in a couple of kitchen appliances. One is this Berkey water filtration system. It purifies our water and we prefer that. I've also got this Instant Pot that so far has been really, really handy and I'm enjoying that. And we bought a toaster oven. One sucky thing about RV kitchens, at least this one, the oven totally stinks. It's tiny, it doesn't really do what an oven's supposed to do. It just dries things out and uses a lot of propane and is annoying. So we are not using the oven. The stove is great, stove is fine. But for whenever we need to toast something or bake something, I wanted to get just something compact that we could use for simple stuff. And so I got this toaster oven. I thought about getting an air fryer. Ones I was looking at were about $200 and I wasn't really sure if we were gonna use it that much. And I didn't want to spend $200 on something that I wasn't certain about. So we got this toaster oven that was about $60, and so far we're really enjoying it and it's doing the trick. I will put links to these appliances that I'm talking about in the description box down below in case you would like to look at them on Amazon and use my affiliate link. Thank you. I love the sink. It's actually way bigger and more functional than the sink in our kitchen, which brings me to my next point about why this was a good move for us. The space is really functional. RVs, at least newer ones, are laid out really well to really maximize the use of space. Even though this is significantly smaller than the apartment that we were renting, I think the apartment we were in was maybe 600 square feet or so. And this trailer, it's 30 feet long, 8 feet wide, so that makes about 240 square feet of space. Even though it's only about 240 square feet, I think we're actually getting more out of the space than we were in our little apartment that did not have a very good layout. So Andre and I can actually both be here in the kitchen, like he can be cooking something on the stove and I can be chopping something over here or making a coffee, and it's totally fine. Like we're not bumping into each other. Whereas before we got into many domestic disputes in the kitchen because we'd be all up on top of each other and in each other's way. So this is our bedroom, and it does pretty much exactly what we need it to do. It's actually a really cozy place to sleep. After I put this shelf up, there was nothing here before, but we needed a bit more storage. So I put this shelf up for some of our clothing, and when you're sleeping down here, it's like really, really cozy. It reminds me of being a kid and like building forts and stuff with couch cushions. This little bedroom is exactly what we need. This is a queen size bed. We have storage over here, and really great storage underneath. We've got space to hang our jackets, and I even have my light up hula hoops that I used to play around with all the time. I'm still happy to have, just in case we ever go to some kind of fun festival. There's also this really great laundry chute that I love. It's full right now because it's the weekend and I'm about to do laundry. It's just so convenient to have that, and Andre and I already decided that no matter where we live next, we want to have a laundry chute. It's brilliant. So it looks like we actually pared down our belongings more than we even needed to, which brings me to my next point, which is minimalism. We're not even that minimalist. Like, we still have a lot of stuff, but just by having less stuff, it's freed up more time for us to do other things that we enjoy more, like paddleboarding, biking, getting outdoors, hiking, doing all kinds of more interesting things with our lives than worrying about our stuff. And it's been a journey for us. It didn't happen overnight. We were really letting go of things over the process of a couple years and learning to compromise with each other because, just because you think a certain way doesn't mean your partner's gonna think the same way. So we all have our different beliefs and comfort level with things, but if you can learn how to be comfortable with less, man, you're gonna open up so much space in your life for other things. All of the stuff that I thought we really, really needed that I've stuck under here in the storage space under the bed, haven't even used that stuff yet. And I mean, I think we will at some point. There's like our luggage and some winter clothes and camping gear. But it just goes to show like how much you actually don't need. A little upgrade we did to the bedroom was this door. We have this nice sliding door that was really poorly insulated. So we actually just added some car insulation here and stuck it right on the door. It doesn't completely kill the sound in case someone's making noise in the kitchen or the living room, but it dampens it such that it's not really a big deal. So that was a nice little upgrade that we did. And I think it looks pretty good. This is just like gray foam insulation with an adhesive back. So it works for us. So the bathroom has everything any other basic bathroom would have. And the shower, I'm 6 feet tall. Andre and I are both 6 feet tall. We're very tall. And the shower is just plenty of space for us. I think it would be hard for someone who's maybe 6'3" or 6'4". That's when you'd kind of have to be like, scrunching down a little bit. But it really works just fine for us. It's basic. We don't have a bathtub, but we don't spend much time in the bathroom anyways. I like that we can remove the shower head and wash off real good. My next reason for making the decision to move into this RV is about flexibility. Before, when I was living in an apartment, I had very limited choices and little control of what was happening around me. There were high rises going up, which created a lot of pollution and noise and vandalism and blight in our neighborhood. And Andre and I felt so trapped. This RV for us is temporary. We want to buy a house in a couple years, but for the time that we're here, we have a lot of choice and a lot of flexibility. We could move to a different place with our RV. We could travel with it. We could rent it out. We can sell it. We have what feels to us like unlimited options after the time that we spent feeling trapped in our apartment in Oakland. We also get to take care of it ourselves and not have to rely on a landlord who doesn't do anything and is not responsive to complaints about maintenance issues. So that actually brings me to my next reason for making this decision. And let's go ahead and go outside and take a look at the exterior first. Something they don't tell you in school, but is very true, is that learning is uncomfortable. It involves making a lot of mistakes, and Andre and I made a lot of mistakes along the way to getting this RV, including we actually first bought an RV that was a total mess. Meet Betsy. Betsy's having some problems today because the alternator died. But we learned something really important. We were able to sell the RV, but we learned that we just learned more about what we needed and what we didn't need. I tell you that because I think on YouTube and on social media, it's really easy to make things look glossy and perfect. But believe me, I am far from perfect. I have made a ton of mistakes, and making mistakes is an essential part of learning and growing. So I tripped and fell a lot on my way to being here at this RV, which I'm really, really happy about. And the learning journey continues. There are repairs and maintenance and things that we need to do to take care of the RV. And I'm really excited to learn those things. I'm really excited to gain that knowledge and that experience, because that is stuff that I want to take with me as Andre and I move into a house. We want to buy a house, we want to buy a property that needs some renovation, and we want to be able to do some work on it. So we're learning how to maintain our own property right now. We've never owned anything of our own. This is the most expensive thing we've ever owned, this RV. So for us, it's a really good learning experience and a good opportunity to learn how to be responsible for our own stuff and get some of those handyman skills that we're gonna need for owning a home. The RV's got a lot of really cool features. It's got an awning that extends and lights up at night. We have a slide out, as you may have seen from the interior. The slide out gives us a lot more interior space. There is a, what do you call it? There's a ladder on the back, which is essential for getting up on the roof and doing roof maintenance and just sweeping it off and cleaning off. We're under the trees, so we get a lot of tree debris. We need to sweep off leaves and branches. What else? The storage under our bed we can also access from the interior. We call it the garage. So we have this really nice outdoor storage space that's really easily to access, and it's just so convenient. So far, I am really digging this RV, and it was absolutely, hands down, the right decision for me. I'm not going to pretend like issues aren't going to come up, but I'm prepared to deal with those things as they happen. If you have any questions about anything RV life related, please let me know in the chat down below, and I'll be sure to respond.